We're working on it. Okay. So I'm going to pray real quick. Heavenly Father, I thank you that this is just an awesome community we have in our church, an awesome family, and I think you did it so personal. We get to get up here and share what's on our heart, and welcome back in Jesus' name. Amen. So I just have 7 little bitty things that I wanted to share. No. I promise. It's like 5 minutes. I can talk super fast. Okay. So I've been reading about Moses, and I haven't read Exodus in a really long time. So God said, I would like to take you to Exodus. And I've only gone through the first 9 chapters, so this is the 7 points that I've come up with. And it's actually, it's a personal thing, so I like to share it just because it holds me accountable as well. So that's what I'm sharing it. So this is the parallels of Moses in my life. So the very first one was when Moses was born. So in the beginning, Satan had an agenda to kill his life. He was executing all these babies at the time, and Moses was supposed to be in that group. And so he was a miracle baby, and he survived in the river, and there was protection over him. So I was thinking about his life, and my mom wasn't supposed to have kids. And so the doctors told her no, and 5 years later, she had 1 child. And so I thought that was neat, because she's called me her miracle baby, but I don't have to think of that. So that was a good reminder. Satan has an agenda to kill each of our lives, and each of us are a miracle. So that was point number 1, parallel. The second parallel was as Moses grew up, I believe they use a passionate guy. And you can see that where he ends up taking the Egyptian's life, who was being unfair to the Israelites. And so Moses had this desire to see justice. And sometimes he took it to the extreme, like impulsively. So he acted out impulsively. And I thought about my life. And there are countless times when I have acted impulsively with the desire to see justice, but it wasn't mine to take. And so acting impulsively was definitely an area that I can relate to Moses. So that was something that God's been working on. And the neat thing of it was as I watched Moses flee, because he was so afraid of his reputation being scarred, and he was terrified that he'd be found out. And it was neat because even in prayer this morning, Sally talked about the chain of shame on the island being broken off. That people wouldn't have to be worried about being found out. And I thought that was quite interesting because that's the word God gave me for point number 2. And in my life, I've had a lot of shame where I didn't want to be found out or fear of my reputation. And it's just neat to watch how God's removed that and just said, if you walk with me, I'll take care of your reputation. I'll take care of you. You don't have to be in fear or flee. So, that was point number 2. Point 3 was kind of hand in hand with justice. So I think as believers, we're all called to be advocates, right? We're all called to war fear over justice, over this island, over the world, over things that God puts on our hearts. So I believe Moses had that desire to see justice done. He just, in the beginning, took it out in the wrong way. And the beauty is God gave him a second chance to say, I'm going to call you to bring justice to this land, and you're going to do it my way. So having justice for the vulnerable. That was point 4 was that Moses had this awesome moment with the burning bush, right? And so one of the things God asked him to do was to take off his sandals because he was standing on holy ground. And I love that imagery because whenever we're worshiping, I get that picture that we're taking off our sandals and we're standing on holy ground. And God brought me back to remembrance of times when after work at Zion, everyone would leave and I'd turn on the lights, the little spotlights, and just blast worship music. Nobody was around, and it was my time to let go. And I always remember I'd get out on the sanctuary floor and God would say, take off your shoes, you're on holy ground. And so that was a beautiful reminder that when we're worshiping, we can have that presence with Him. Point 5. God told Moses to go to Egypt and to tell Pharaoh to let his children go. So as you read about Moses' journey through that, I love that he was so real about his fear. And he negotiated with God, and he argued, and he did delayed obedience, and he did a whole lot. Right? Amen. I could so relate. So Moses was scared. He felt inadequate. He felt not up to the task, to the challenge. And God said, never mind that. I've called you. And so that was point 5. He wrestled with fear. But God overcame that fear. And point 6 is God's answer to the fear. In Exodus 4:12 it says, now therefore go and I will be with your mouth and teach you what you shall say. I love that because that's our calling in every situation. No matter where we're at, whatever the circumstance, he says, let me be the mouthpiece and I'll tell you what to say. And point 7, last but not least, Exodus 7:2 says, you shall speak all that I command you. And so as he went out and he began to speak, and him and Aaron were the mouthpiece, we came to this part about Goshen. And it says in Exodus 8:22, and in that day I will set apart the land of Goshen, in which my people dwell, this is when the flies are going around, that no swarms of flies shall be there, in order that you may know that I am the Lord in the midst of the land. And for me, that was really quite tender. Why? Because I went to school in Goshen for 4 years in Indiana, and the college was called Goshen. And that was probably 4 of my darkest years. When I was in total rebellion, I called myself Christian, or I lived the complete opposite. People wouldn't know I was a Christian for the life of me. And I remember being so far because I ran from God and ran into my own desires. And when I read this, it said that the land of Goshen was set apart, and he was in the midst of the land. And so God just reminded me time and time again, even though you were so far away, I loved you at your lowest, and I have the same amount of love for you today, even though you're striving after me. But I was in the midst of that ugly, dark 4 years. And those swarms of flies for me was the parallel. I had so much chaos that I brought into my own life. So I had these swarms of flies all around me. My life stunk. Always attracting flies. And so for me, it was like, wow, Lord, you were in the midst of all that. And so that was my 7 revelational points for Exodus, and I just hope that blesses you and your life.